Good afternoon and welcome to today's vocabulary class. I am Anurag Sharma, practitioner legal, and today we are going to discuss about vocabulary on speech and expression. So, in our life, we come across a plethora of people having various speech patterns. Some speak less, some speak more. Some speak in a charming manner and some not quite. So, there are various words in the English language to describe that kind of person. Starting without further ado, let us get started. So, the first word in our today's vocabulary class is taciturn. What do we mean by taciturn? Taciturn. The word comes from the Latin root taceo, T-A-C-E-O. Taceo means silent. ऐसा व्यक्ति जो कम बोले या कोई ऐसी चीज जो बोली ना गई. Taceo means silent. Moving on, taciturn, having the root word taceo, it means someone who is habitually silent. Someone who is habitually silent, reserved in speech, temperamentally untalkative or disinclined to speak. So, what kind of person is a taciturn person? A taciturn is someone who is disinclined to speak. उसको बोलना पसंद ही नहीं, वो नहीं बोलेगा. यानी कि at all given times he will remain silent. He will not be engaging in any sort of conversation because it is his very temperament. उनका inherent nature होता है कुछ ना बोलने का. And that is why we call that person to be a silent one, a taciturn one. क्योंकि वो कुछ बोलता नहीं है. As I said, etymology of the word is taciturnus, taceo or taciturnus, silent or tacere, to be silent. अब इसके synonyms क्या क्या होते हैं? Taciturn, the word, has several synonyms. First of them and the most prominent of them being is reticent. Reticent taciturn से थोड़ा सा toned down version है. Reticent is someone who is जो बहुत readily ना बोले. वो बोलता है लेकिन बहुत readily नहीं बोलता. Reticent, and he is not at all. He is very unwilling to speak. Of course, if you coerce that person, he will speak. But at all given times, he is quite pleased to not speak. Reticent, reserved, uncommunicative. So taciturn is someone who remains silent all along. Antonyms of this word are talkative, garrulous, loquacious. So garrulous and loquacious we are going to discuss in this very class sometime after. Now let us take a look at some examples. The first example is, despite his brilliance, the professor was taciturn, speaking only when necessary. So there is a professor, he is a brilliant professor, he is a master of his subject, he is a scholar, he is an erudite, but he is taciturn. So he is a brilliant person, and if he speaks, he is sure to bamboozle people, he is sure to impress people, but he chooses not to speak. He is a silent one, speaking only when necessary. Second, her taciturn nature made her seem unfriendly, though she was simply shy. Okay, so there is a lady who is taciturn by nature, who doesn't speak, like to speak. So, and yes, this is a problem with taciturn people. Their fundamental disposition is not to speak. It is not that they hate others, but they are often misinterpreted, they are often misconstrued and misunderstood as someone who is rude. Actually, they are not. Taciturn is someone जिसको बोलना पसंद ही नहीं. For example, I myself am a taciturn. Okay, I hope this one is clear. Taciturn. Taciturn से एक word और आता है tacit. Tacit means something that is unsaid. जैसे it was a tacit rule in our office not to disturb that person on Sundays. On Sunday. So there is an employee who is a very mercurial in nature, and everybody knows that Sunday is his day to retreat, his day to enjoy. So it was an unsaid rule. इस rule को कहीं लिखा नहीं गया, कोई बोलता नहीं था, लेकिन सबको पता था कि ये उसको Sunday को परेशान नहीं करना. So tacit means silent. It is a rule, but it is a silent rule. Okay, इस पे टाइम लग गया हमारा बहुत ज़्यादा. Now we move on to the next word, which is laconic. Now this one is an interesting one. Laconic. Laconic is is someone who uses very few words, a man of few words. आपने ये expression सुना होगा. अब few words बोलने का क्या मतलब है? हिंदी में कहावत है गागर में सागर भरना, कम शब्दों में बहुत ज़्यादा बोलना. So a laconic is someone who uses less number of words, but he is able to convey big, fancy, magnanimous ideas. He is able to convey the accurate thoughts, accurate ideas in those very few words. Laconic is a virtue. Let me tell you. Laconic is a virtue. And let us first discuss the etymology of it. Laconic, it comes from Laconia. Laconia, ancient Sparta का पुराना नाम था, the Greek city. So Laconia उसका पुराना नाम था. उसमें ये हुआ कि there was one enemy state who basically attacked Laconia, and they sieged and surrounded the city of Laconia. And the enemy, he said one letter to the king of Laconia. He said, if we enter your city, we will burn your city down. We will ravage it. We will destroy it. He said something like this. If we enter your city. To that, the king, who was a laconic one, he said something very interesting. He sent back a letter. He sent back a reply. And that reply contained only one word. Do you know what that word was? That was if. So he said, if we enter your city, we will do this, we will do that, we will do that. And the reply that the king of Laconia sent, if. This is confidence. That you will be able to do that, sure, but only if you are able to enter the city, which is not going to happen. So this quality, this characteristic is what we call laconic, being laconic. Synonyms: brief, terse, concise, pithy. So laconic क्या होता है? इसमें the person who is laconic, he is very economical in words. वो वर्ड्स को ऐसे यूज करता है जैसे कोई व्यक्ति पैसे को यूज करता है. हमें एडवाइस दी जाती है कि पैसों को बहुत खर्चा नहीं करो, पैसा बर्बाद नहीं करो. You should not be wasteful. You should not squander your resources. So उसके लिए words भी एक resource है, words भी एक तरह का money है. So in that regard, he does not, a laconic person, he does not believe to spend more words than is necessary for the occasion, for the event. अगर हमें यहाँ पे 5 words में मेरा काम हो जा रहा है तो I will not be reciting a speech of say 100 words or 200 words. No, that is not the case for a laconic person. A laconic person is very frugal, but frugal has a sense of being conjuice. No, a laconic person is not conjuice in his words. He understands the value of his words, and that is why he chooses his words very meticulously. So this is the hallmark of a laconic person. He will be using very few words. He will be concise in his speech. In fact, I am reminded of one quote by William Shakespeare. He said, "Brevity is the soul of wit." So brevity is the soul of wit. An intelligent person will always be a person who will be having brevity. यानी कि the quality of speaking less, the quality of using less number of words. So अगर मेरा काम जो है 5 words में हो जा रहा है, तो why will I be using 10 words or 20 words? So this is a quality which is especially needed in the legal discipline. If you are a lawyer, you must inculcate this particular quality, which is laconicism. Antonyms: verbose, wordy, loquacious. ये दोनों words, verbose and loquacious, we are going to discuss later in this very session. So here are some examples. The manager's laconic reply ended the discussion abruptly. So there is one meeting which is being conducted in some company, and the manager, being the presider, the president of that meeting, he abruptly ended the meeting by doing what? By giving a laconic reply. Sorry. By giving a laconic reply. That means बहुत कम शब्दों में उसने बोल दिया कि ये सब, this meeting is finally concluded, let us not waste our time anymore and let us get back to the work. Let's get to the brass tacks. एक expression है. Next, his laconic answer suggested he had little interest in the conversation. So laconic, there is a person who is giving laconic answer. That means he is not wordy. He is not using his gift of the gab. He is not being pompous with his speech. He is only answering to the extent which is required. But being laconic has its own risk, because people are often going to judge you to be a rude person, just like the previous word, which is taciturn. So his laconic answer suggested he had little interest in the conversation. But in the legal field, as I said, we value this virtue. This is considered a virtue, not a vice. Laconic, you should always be laconic. All intelligent people, all smart people, and all respectable people, they are men of few words. They are men of few words. They are laconic. I think this example is clear. Now, if that is the case, let us move on to the next one. Inarticulate. Inarticulate means what? Inarticulate is the exact opposite of the word articulate. Articulate is what? Articulation. Articulate means to express your feelings in the best possible manner, to convey your feelings, to give words to your feelings. So that is articulation. But we are concerned with inarticulate. So articulation, to express, but inarticulation or inarticulate means to being unable to express oneself clearly or effectively. So if there is a person who is not able to convey his thoughts, convey his ideas, he is not able to express his emotions, he is not able to express his feelings in the correct manner, or he is simply being unable to get across his audience. So that person is characterized as an inarticulate person. Inarticulate, the word can be used both for a person as well as for a writing as well as for a speech. So inarticulate speech, that means a speech which fails to get across its ideas. Inarticulate writing, that means the writing is, the writing is not able to convey the message that the writer of the piece is desirous of displaying. So here is inarticulate. अपने भावनाओं को, अपने विचारों को अगर आप अच्छे से कन्वे कर पा रहे हो, that means you are an articulate person. अगर नहीं कर पा रहे हो, that means you are an inarticulate person. Okay. इसके antonyms हैं articulate, eloquent and expressive. Eloquent, जिसको वाचन शक्ति ज़्यादा हो, जो अच्छे से बोल पाता हो. Examples. Grief left her inarticulate, unable to explain her feelings. So there is one lady जिसके साथ maybe some unfortunate incident has happened, or maybe she has encountered an unfortunate incident. So यहाँ क्या कहा जा रहा है कि grief means sorrow. So sorrow or disappointment or sadness has rendered her, left her means has rendered her, has made her what? Inarticulate. That means दुख के मारे that lady is not has become incapable of expressing her thoughts, her ideas, her speech, unable to explain her feelings. She is not being able to explain her feelings because she is grief stricken. That means stricken with grief. She is chapfallen, she is crestfallen, she is bereaved. Second, the witness was so nervous that his testimony became inarticulate. And yes, this happens in the court quite a lot. Suppose if you grill a witness to such an extent that you are testing his very nerves, and if he is of a weak body, weak mind, then what will happen? He will crumble beneath the weight of your questions. He will suffer anxiety, and he is prone to commit blunders. And yes, this technique is often used by lawyers while they are cross-examining the witnesses. So the witness was so nervous, he was very nervous that his testimony became inarticulate. So he was there to testify on his on the petitioners or the respondents. I don't know, whatever might be the case, but he was there to testify. But he became so nervous that his testimony became inarticulate. जो उसको बोलना था वो अच्छे से बोल ही नहीं पा रहा है. So his whole testimony, it will become one ambiguous lot. It will become ambiguous. No meaning can be derived out of it. It will become unintelligible. एक और word. So ambiguous. जिससे जो कंफ्यूजिंग हो, जो क्लियर ना हो, एंड जो क्लियर ना हो उसके लिए हम लोग एक वर्ड आगे और भी देखेंगे. सो इनआर्टिकुलेट इज अनेबल टू एक्सप्रेस वनसेल्फ क्लियरली और इफेक्टिवली. अगर कोई व्यक्ति अच्छे से अपने विचारों को एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पा रहा है, ही इज इनआर्टिकुलेट. नेक्स्ट वी कम टू garrulous. I repeat, garrulous. Now garrulous is what? This is one of my favorite words. And yes, in my childhood, I was a garrulous one. Excessively or tiresomely, sorry for the spelling errors, excessively or tiresomely talkative. So garrulous is someone who is talkative. He is talkative as a parrot, as the expression goes in English language. So someone who is very talkative, we call that person as talkative as a parrot, because parrots, they tend to be talkative. They are one of the few, I think, as far as I can recall, if my memory serves me right, they are the only animal which can mimic human speech, or of course to an extent. So garrulous is someone जो बहुत बोलता हो, बड़ who talks and talks and talks and talks and keep on talking. That is garrulous, to the point of annoyance. So a person who talks a lot and he talks to the point of being annoying, that person is called garrulous. Etymology of this word is garrio, which means I chatter. A chatterbox. That is why we have one synonym for garrulous is chatterbox. Someone who chatters a lot. In Anne Frank, chapter number 1, The Diary of a Young Girl, if my memory serves me right, in the very first chapter, this particular word has been used. And there's a scene of Anne Frank in her class. Yes, her teacher, she's talking about how her teacher calls her a chatterbox because she talks a lot. She is a garrulous person. She's a garrulous one. So garrulous is derived from the Latin garrio, means I chatter. Synonyms: chatty, loquacious, prattling. Yes, so these two are advanced words. Talkative, everybody knows. Chatty, everybody knows. Chatterbox, everybody knows. But being lawyers or aspiring lawyers, we have to have so many words in our arsenal because no two words are perfect synonyms. Suppose there is one person who is talkative, one person who is garrulous, and one person who is loquacious. All are talkative in one sense, but the same word will not be used to describe two same things, because there might be subtle differences because of which we will be forced to use one particular word. Every word has its own intricate nuance. So chatty, loquacious, prattling. Loquacious हम लोग थोड़ी देर बाद देखेंगे. Antonyms: reticent, जैसा हमने अभी देखा. Taciturn का synonym. Taciturn, silent. So ये garrulous के antonyms हैं. Let us look at the examples. The garrulous neighbor spent hours recounting minor events. So there is one neighbor who is talkative, who is garrulous, who chatters a lot. So he chatters a lot, and he is doing what? He spent hours recounting minor events. So he likes to talk about trifling things. He likes to talk about trite things, irrelevant things. So that person is garrulous. Yes, this is another characteristic of garrulous. A garrulous person always engages in conversations which are quite meaningless, which are of no significance or importance. And even if they are having importance or significance, they are of very slight nature. This is garrulous. His garrulous nature made him the life of casual gatherings. So there is a person who is of garrulous nature. He is of a talkative nature. And yes, these kind of people are often the life of the party, because they are not reserved. They are not there to spoil the mood. Of course, some people are of the notion that being garrulous is any day better than being taciturn. I don't quite agree to that. Let me be very clear. I am someone who is taciturn. I don't speak a lot. I am an introvert. I am a wallflower. I am reticent, not a garrulous. Okay, so his garrulous nature made him the life of casual gatherings. वो casual gatherings में हमेशा जो है he was always a popular one, क्योंकि वो सबसे बात करता है, सबके साथ engage करता है, and casual gatherings इसी बात के लिए होती हैं. We are not there to talk business. We are there to converse, random chit chat, idle chit chat. So garrulous person उन जगहों पे they can be hero, but on some occasion or at a place where formality is treated as a virtue, is appreciated and in fact encouraged, वहाँ garrulous लोग जो है they are seen as what? Evil? They are seen as a bull in a china shop, a square peg on a round table. These are the idioms. Okay. Next we come to banal. Let me pronounce it once again. Banal. Banal is what? Banal is ordinary. Banal is commonplace. Banal is simple. And not simple. Banal is something which is so often repeated that it has lost its originality, its novelty, its creativity, its charm, simply because it has been repeated so frequently that nobody is going to be excited when the thing is being uttered. It is another word for it would be cliche, another would be platitude, another would be jaded. Jaded means किसी को बहुत घिसा पिटा, जितना किसी चीज़ को यूज़ किया जाए उसको jaded बोलते हैं. So a thing which is used frequently, quite a lot, that thing will be characterized as jaded. Another and here we are concerned with banal. Banal comes from the French banal, common to all, which is very common, so common that it has no originality. Banal, घिसी पिटी बातें, उनको banal बोलते हैं. So related to funeral services shared by all. Okay, this one is not important, but let us look at the synonyms. Trite, hackneyed, cliche. घिसी पिटी बातें, जैसा हमने कहा. Antonyms, original, fresh, novel. कोई चीज़ exciting कब होती है? अपने initial days में, when it is new, when it is novel. समय गुजर जाएगा and it will lose its charm, it will lose its beauty. Same goes with banal things. So banal, maybe at one particular point of time, that thing was being hailed, it was celebrated. But over the course of time, what happened? It lost its originality, its charm. So banal ऐसी बातें होती हैं जो इतना रिपीट करती जाएं कि कोई वो अब प्रेडिक्टेबल हो गया. हमें पता है कि ये व्यक्ति इस समय ये बोलने वाला है. For example, let me give you one sentence. Replying "I am fine" to "How are you" is quite banal, isn't it? We have other alternatives for that. For example, if somebody asks me "How are you," so I will say, "Oh, I'm great, thank you. I'm fantastic. I'm hale and hearty. I'm in the pink. I am fit as a fiddle." These are the expressions that you can use. You have a wide assortment of options, but still we go with this plain old "I'm fine," which is banal. It has no originality, no creativity, and no charm. And people are going to judge you if you reply with "I am fine." Okay? So here are the examples of banal. The film's plot was banal, recycling every cliche in the book. There is one movie जिसका plot कैसा है, जिसकी storyline कैसी है? It was banal, very predictive, very guessy pity. Recycling every cliche in the book. तो किसी भी बुक में या किसी भी स्टोरी में जो भी कॉमन प्लॉट्स होते हैं कि एक मे बी आप लोगों को ज़्यादा अच्छे से पता होगा कि देयर विल बी लेट मी गिव यू वन सेइंग इन हिंदी, एक था राजा एक थी रानी दोनों मर गए खत्म कहानी. तो ये चीज़ें जो इतना यूज़ हो चुका है कि अब प्रेडिक्टेबल ही नहीं बचा, उसको बनाल कहते हैं. तो दैट फिल्म वॉज हैविंग अ वेरी बनाल प्लॉट लाइन. सेकेंड, हिज banal remarks added nothing meaningful to the debate. So there is a person and he during an ongoing debate he was making banal remarks, although in his mind maybe he is thinking that oh my god, I'm speaking with such caliber, I'm speaking with such finesse, people are going to like it. No, he was talking banal things, irrelevant. He was talking about cliched things which has no originality, and he was not at all contributing to the debate or the discussion. So this is banal, घिसी पिटी बातें. Next, verbose, a very important word. Verbose means being pompous. Laconic का ठीक उल्टा होता है. Verbose किसको बोलते हैं? Verbose is a person or a thing who uses more words than is necessary. As I said, it is the antonym of laconic. Laconic कौन है? Laconic is someone who uses minimal number of words. He is economical in his words. He is reserved in using his words because he appreciates the value of his words. But verbose is someone who speaks in a very showy manner. He speaks in a very pompous manner. He will be using magniloquent speech, big words, fancy words, and he will be. अगर आप उससे एक लाइन का कोई क्वेश्चन पूछोगे, वो आपको 10 लाइन का आंसर देगा. Maybe आप you were expecting कि 2 लाइन का कुछ बात बोलेगा, but अगर आप आपसे वो बताने लगा कि हम ऐसे हैं, हम अच्छे हैं, और फिर मेरे घर वालों के अपने घर वालों के में बताएगा, कहाँ गया था ये भी बताएगा, क्या खाया था 3 टाइम का खाना वो भी बता देगा. So this is verbose, using more words than necessary. It comes from the Latin verbose, full of words. बहुत ज़्यादा words जो use कर रहा है. Synonyms: wordy, long-winded, prolix. So verbose means wordy speech. ऐसी speech या ऐसी writing जहाँ पे बहुत सारे words use किए हों. More words than is necessary for the occasion. Long-winded, prolix. Synonyms: antonyms: concise, succinct, laconic, terse, pithy, brevity. Brevity is the abstract noun. So verbose is the adjective meaning concise, कम words, कागर में सागर. Examples: the verbose report obscured the key findings. Yes, this often happens. Suppose if you are given an assignment by a teacher, so what do they appreciate? Our teachers and professors and almost everyone, every right-thinking member of the society, they expect that the thing that is before them is explaining the things in quite succinct manner, in a concise manner, not verbose manner. Because अगर आप जैसे स्कूल के दिनों में क्या होता था, we are expected to write our answers point wise, because point wise answers, it enables the writer not only to write clearly, but it enables the reader to read clearly, and he is able to extract and derive the expression, the idea, your intention of the writer. So इसीलिए कहा जाता है कि कंसाइज लिखिए, कंसाइज बोलिए, कंसाइज, सक्सेंट, लैकोनिक. सो वर्बोस रिपोर्ट एक रिपोर्ट है जिसमें बहुत सारे वर्ड्स यूज किए गए हैं, बिग एंड शोई लैंग्वेज, बट उसका इफेक्ट ये हुआ कि ऑब्सक्योर्ड मींस टू मडल, टू कंफ्यूज द की फाइंडिंग्स. उस रिपोर्ट की जो फाइंडिंग्स थी वो ही उस सारे वर्ड्स के बीच में खो गई. तो वर्ड्स का एक भूल भुलैया, एक लैबिरिंथ बिछा दिया गया, और उसके अंदर में जो की फाइंडिंग्स हैं, व्हिच इज द कंक्लूजन, व्हिच इज द फाइंडिंग ऑफ द रिपोर्ट, वो खो गया. It has been obscured. However, verbose explanation confused rather than clarified the issue. This sentence is saying there is a lady who is explaining something, but he is doing so in a verbose manner. She is using a lot of words, and because of that, look, the very nature of an explanation is to clarify things. Explanation क्यों देते हैं? किसी काम को किसी बात को clarify करने के लिए. But if your explanation is so long and it is using so many words, the explanation will be counterproductive. It means जो effect उससे आना चाहिए था, which is the clarification, वो नहीं आया. Cross. So her verbose explanation confused rather than clarified the issue. Issue को clarify करना था, लेकिन उसने और confuse कर दिया. Next, verbose, I hope it's clear. Next, voluble. This is an interesting one. Voluble is a virtue. इसका ये एक adjective है. इसका meaning होता है to be fluent in speech. So if some person is speaking fluently in a very clear manner, in a very smooth manner, and there is fluency in his speech, वो कहीं रुक नहीं रहा है, because जैसे अभी हम कर रहे हैं, ये क्या है? I am not speaking in a voluble manner. I am speaking in a somewhat what to say, helter-skelter manner. So voluble, the often great speakers, for example, Mr. Shashi Tharoor from the Indian National Congress, he is a voluble speaker. That means he has great command of the language and he speaks fluently, be it French, be it English. So speaking fluently and at length, उनके पास content की कमी नहीं होती. So a person who is voluble, उसमें क्या क्या characteristics होंगी? First, he will be fluent in his speech. Second, he will be clear in his speech. And third, he will be unstoppable. That means smooth, वो रुकेगा नहीं. He will be a juggernaut in his speech. You know, juggernaut, it's another word in English. Juggernaut means unstoppable. Juggernaut, ये पूरी जगन्नाथपुरी उड़ीसा में जो रथ यात्रा होती है भगवान जगन्नाथ की, उनको the Britishers when they arrive India, they observed that Jagannath Yatra, Rath Yatra, and they were quite perplexed and they were quite impressed by this idea that once the Rath sets out, वो सिर्फ वहीं जाके रुकेगा जहाँ पे उसका गंतव्य है, जहाँ उसका गोल है. उसके बीच में कुछ भी हो जाए, that रथ is not going to stop. क्यों? क्योंकि उस रथ का नेचर ही नहीं है रुकने का. वो यात्रा जो है वो निर्बाध रूप से चलती है. There is no बाधा, there is no obstacle, there is no stoppage with of that रथ. तो क्योंकि वो कभी नहीं रुकता, it is a very big रथ, it is a big power and it has the quality of being unstoppable. So जगन्नाथ को वो लोग pronounce नहीं कर पाते थे Britishers. They started calling it juggernaut. Juggernaut. So from there we have this word in English language, juggernaut. Okay, I got derailed. So voluble, speaking fluently and at length, smoothly talkative. From Latin, voluble is rolling, fluent, from volvere to roll. So इसका root है volubis, volubilis. Volubilis means to roll. जब कोई चीज़ roll होती है तो बिना रुके roll होती है. So क्योंकि वो smoothly roll हो रही है, इसीलिए उसको voluble का meaning ये दिया गया कि speaking fluently and at length. Antonyms: silent, reticent, taciturn. So voluble means वो रुक ही नहीं रहा है बोलने से, बहुत अच्छे से बोल रहा है, efficiently बोल रहा है, clearly बोल रहा है, fluently बोल रहा है. But antonyms क्या है? जो बोलता ही नहीं, reticent. Taciturn. Examples. The voluble salesman persuaded customers with ease. So there is one salesman and he is quite adept at being at sales. So he is doing what? He is being voluble in his speech. वो इतने अच्छे से बोल रहा है and salesman में quality होनी चाहिए. Also lawyers में. क्योंकि if you are to argue in courts, the court expects, and even if the court does not expect, you are expected to use voluble speech. You should be voluble because कोर्ट के पास इतना टाइम नहीं होता है कि वो सबको सुने. तो अगर आप अज एंड आर्म्स में फंस जाओगे तो आप अपने क्लाइंट का साइड कभी कोर्ट के सामने रख ही नहीं सकते. Voluble, we should be voluble in our speech. The voluble salesman persuaded customers with ease. तो वो सेल्समैन है, वो धारा प्रवाह बोल रहा है, वो स्मूथ बोल रहा है, वो क्लियरली बोल रहा है, वो फ्लुएंटली बोल रहा है. तो उसके ये मैनर ऑफ स्पीच, इट इज हैविंग द इफेक्ट ऑफ परसुएशन. कन्विंस किया कर सकता है वो अपने कस्टमर्स को, बहुत आसानी से कर रहा है. She was voluble in her praise for the new project. So the company has come out with a new project and there is one employee. She is doing what? She is praising that, but she is not simply praising. She is praising volubly. Volubly means she was very outspoken. She was very fluent and she was very talkative with regard to her praise of that project. Unstoppably. Voluble. I think this one is clear. So voluble is someone who speaks fluently. Someone who speaks, not only speaks fluently, but speaks fluently at length. Next, cogent. As I said, we will be discussing a word that relates to the quality of being reasonable, the quality of being clear, the quality of being convincing. So this is the very word which I was talking about. So cogent is what? Cogent उस व्यक्ति को, किसी व्यक्ति को या किसी आर्गुमेंट को, किसी बात को cogent कहते हैं. Cogent is an adjective जो क्लियर हो और इतना क्लियर हो कि कोई डाउट ही ना हो जाए, रीजनेबल हो, एंड नॉट ओनली क्लियर बट रीजनेबल, बहुत कन्विंसिंग और कंपेलिंग आर्गुमेंट. फॉर एग्जांपल, द लॉयर्स आर नोन टू बी cogently argumentative. So if there is a good lawyer, he can craft cogent arguments out of thin air. And if you are skillful in crafting cogent arguments, if you are cogent in your speech, cogent in your debates, cogent in your argumentation, the court or the people, even if you are having a simple conversation with any person, you gain the quality of being credible. People are going to believe that because you make cogent arguments. Cogent means reasonable and convincing. Sorry. Based on evidence. अगर कोई बात जो है कोजेंट है तो इसका इतना ही मतलब है कि वो बात रीजनेबल है, वो बात कन्विंसिंग है. दैट मीन्स इट इज हैविंग परसुएसिव क्वालिटी. लोग उसको मान सकते हैं. उसमें ये बात है कि लोग जो है उसको अप्रिशिएट करेंगे, ये बात लोगों को पसंद आएगी. और ना केवल पसंद आएगी, दे कैन नॉट गेन से इट. देयर इज वन वर्ड GAINSAY. Gainsay means to contradict. They cannot challenge it because cogent argument. So appealing to the intellect or powers of reasoning, forcefully persuasive, relevant, pertinent, clear and convincing an argument. अगर कोई बहुत strong argument, so we also call it a cogent argument because it cannot be contradicted easily. Of course, it can be contradicted. No argument is so unclinching. No argument is so invincible that it cannot be contradicted. Great lawyers, they often do that. They are able to see loopholes in your argument, no matter how convincing, how cogent, how compelling your argument might be. If there is a good lawyer, good lawyer who is your opponent, he will be able to look at all the loopholes in your argument. So clear and convincing argument. Cogent is a very nice word that we frequently use in the legal discipline. So etymology, from Latin cogere, to drive together, to compel. He is coming in. Synonyms, convincing, compelling, persuasive, as I already told you. Antonyms, weak, unconvincing, ineffective. So cogent, कोई भी चीज, कोई व्यक्ति cogent है या कोई writing piece of writing cogent है, तो it simply means that it is credible. It is based on evidence. It is a strong. It presents a strong argument. Examples: the lawyer presented a cogent argument that swayed the jury. There is one lawyer, he is presenting some cogent arguments, some convincing, very persuasive arguments based on reason, based on facts, based on data and evidence and statistics and whatnot. So of course, if your argument is argument, but if it is based on something, if it has a logical and rational basis, and it is grounded in some fact, some statistic, some data, then these things make your argument to be a cogent one. Otherwise, it's a mere group of words. So, antonyms, weak. The lawyer presented a cogent argument that swayed the jury. Through his cogent argument, he was able to convince the jury to his own position. Second, his cogent reasoning made the proposal difficult to oppose. So there is this person, वो क्या कर रहा है? Cogent reasoning दे रहा है, बहुत reasonable reasoning, बहुत strong reasoning दे रहा है. Made the proposal difficult to oppose की और इस proposal जो उसने proposal दिया बहुत cogently उसको argue कर रहा है. तो उसको oppose नहीं किया जा सकता और किया जा सकता है तो बहुत difficulty के साथ किया जा सकता है. ये है cogent. Next, vociferous. Vociferous, it comes from Latin vociferi, means to shout. तो अगर कोई बहुत strongly या बहुत ज़्यादा बोलता है तो उसको vociferous बोलते हैं. जो बहुत vocal, vociferous के लिए एक और word है vocal. It's a simple word, but we as lawyers, we as professionals, we should always aspire to learn advanced and more advanced words. So vociferous is making or characterized by a noisy outcry, clamorous, loud, forceful and insistent in expressing opinions. Garrulous का synonym. Okay? So vociferous is a person who is very much vocal. But vocal to a point that he is judged to be a noisy one. And he is not judged only, he is actually a noisy one. Vociferous. If somebody keeps on, keeps on voicing his concerns, voicing his opinions, no matter the time, no matter the occasion, he's what? He's vociferous. So vociferous, who makes a big deal out of things, who makes great huge and cry, he makes great clamor. He is vociferous, who is loud, forceful and insistent in expressing opinions. So vociferous is a wise person. Vociferous, he is insistent on stating his opinions. And not only he states his opinions, but he does so in a clamorous manner, in a very noisy manner. Synonym: outspoken, clamorous, vehement. Vehement means forceful. He is using forceful speech. Forceful इस सेंस में नहीं कह रहे हैं कि उसके बातें बहुत स्ट्रांग है, नहीं. vociferous वो हल्ला बहुत कर रहा है. तो all that he has going in his favor is his tonality of his voice, his loudness of his voice. But अब ये भी हो सकता है कि जो वो बोल रहा है उसमें कंटेंट नहीं है, उसमें कोई कोजेंट बात नहीं है. बट ये भी हो सकता है कि कोजेंट बात हो और वो लाउडली बोल रहा है, तो इवन दैट इन दैट केस वी विल बी कॉलिंग दैट पर्सन vociferous. So vociferous has both positive as well as a negative connotation. So you should be very mindful when you are to use this word, vociferous. Vociferous एक लाइन में समझ लेते हैं. Vociferous जो बहुत noisy वे में अपनी बात कहता है, and he makes a big huge and hue and cry about it. Next, antonym: quiet, subdued, restrained. जैसे taciturn, laconic. Taciturn और laconic लोग जो है vociferous नहीं होते, वो verbose नहीं होते, जैसा कि हमने डिस्कस किया. Examples: the vociferous protesters demanded immediate reform. I don't know what kind of organization this sentence pertains to, but there is, maybe let us assume that there is one organization, and of that organization there are some members who are dissatisfied with the state of affairs, how that organization is run or managed, and they are doing what? They are voicing their opinions, they are protesting, and they are demanding that some reforms should be made to the existing system. But they are protesting in what manner? They are protesting vociferously. They are vociferous. They are voicing their opinions in a very loud manner, in a very clamorous manner. So that is vociferous. So when you are very outspoken about your opinions, where you are very much outspoken about your beliefs, your value system, your ideas, your demands, you are vociferous. Next, second example. He was vociferous in his objections to the new policy. So some new policy has been rolled out, and there is a person who is objecting to it vociferously, very loudly. So this is vociferous. Next, which is the last word for today's class. Loquacious. 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 Loquacious, it comes from loqua or loqui, Latin root, which means to speak, and not only to speak in a very talkative manner. So loquacious is a person who is very talkative. Loquacious is someone who is inclined to speak at length. As we discussed a while back, loquacious is this person, garrulous. So बहुत बातूनी अगर कोई होगा, बात करना जिसको बहुत पसंद है, that person is talkative, that person is garrulous, and that person is loquacious. But loquacious थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव हिंट रखता है. Chatty, garrulous, voluble तो synonyms हैं इसके, but loquacious जो है बहुत एडवांस और बहुत ब्यूटीफुल वर्ड है because it has the sh sound. Very talkative, inclined to speak at length. Antonyms reticent, taciturn, laconic. So अगर आप garrulous समझ गए तो loquacious समझने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. Loquacious is the synonym of garrulous. Also, it is the antonym of which word? It is the antonym of taciturn. It is the antonym of laconic, reticent. So these. Now let us take a look at the example. The loquacious host kept the guests entertained for hours. There is an event, there is a party, and some guests have arrived. The host is there. The host is entertaining his guests in loquacious manner. He is talking to everybody. He is a talkative person. He is a social butterfly. Social butterfly means just it's an idiom which means a very sociable person. He likes to interact with people throughout his day. He is an extrovert in that era. Second, her loquacious storytelling captivated the entire class. देखिए, in both of these sentences, the word loquacious has been used in a very positive connotation, in a very positive light. Garrulous, negative. Loquacious, positive. Talkative है, बहुत बोलता है, लेकिन it is considered a virtue. So loquacious is, of course, it can be used in a negative sense also, but mostly it is having a positive connotation. The loquacious host kept the guests entertained for hours. Her loquacious storytelling captivated the entire class. So there is one lady. She is into storytelling, and whenever she recites a story, whenever she narrates a story, she does so in a very loquacious manner, in a very wordy manner, and she captivates, she enchants the listeners. तो loquacious इस तरीके से भी यूज हो सकता है कि अगर कोई बहुत अच्छे से बोल रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा है, तो उसको loquacious कहा जा सकता है.